Alright everybody, hello, it's Jason, and tonight I'm going to make a video and do some really cool explaining of my favorite radio that I have, of many, but of course this is my only HF radio. But I wanted to do a little in-depth presentation so that everyone can see why I love ham radio so much. Now I do have a few ham radio operator friends on here, so who probably, well, definitely know all about this. So, basically, this is my Yeasu Ft-710, and it is an amazing work of art. And so, I'm going to kind of just show a lot of the features without getting into the actual what it can do with the computer as far as going to the computer. Maybe another video I'll show that, but just a lot of the features, and you know, so here we go. Well, first of all, right now, this frequency that I'm on is the 7 megahertz or the 40 meter band, which is right here. This is a pretty wide band. I am a general, which is right here, the G. So I am allowed to, because this is lower sideband, I'm allowed to communicate on voice from 7.178 to 7.300 megahertz. Okay? So where I'm at right now is below the voice band. So I would have to be at 7.178. That's kind of cutting it close. So I'd probably start up around 179. So it looks like there's some noise tonight. But I'm going to turn my level down here. And I'm going to expand. So basically, all these lines that you see, these are active stations right now. This is called a waterfall display. Okay? And this is my noise level. I'm about a 5. I live near a lot of, you know, buildings and things, so I get a lot of noise around here. That was a lightning. That was a lightning. That's lightning that you see running across. But it could have been picked up from, you know, obviously another location. Okay. So what I would normally do when I turn on my radio is start to just scan around. Now what I like to do whenever I plan on just staying on voice is putting my cursor to where I can actually move my cursor around. And since I have you know, boundaries more or less, I'll run my cursor up right here, as you can see, to 7.300. And then that allows me, instead of having to, it allows me to quickly move throughout the entire band. Well, not, you know, right down to about 7.1800, or I can go down. Remember I said I stop at 7.178. That's my limitations. If I start to try to communicate down here,
down to
right here,
Virginia Beach.
if I were to break into this QSO, I would be sharply told, as soon as I said this is KC3UNI, they would very quickly go online and they would verify to make sure that I am an extra class, because I'm not allowed to communicate on this frequency. They would ignore me. Now, if I said Mayday, 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 or break, break, or something like of that nature where it was an emergency, they would definitely listen to me, but I better have a damn good reason.
Started to pull back in, and blew that tire in the rear. That tire, I heard that thing bang.
So up around this area, again, I have to move back up. This is actually
most of the folks were able to hear you there, Steve. So
This is actually,
and welcome aboard there, KB2NQN.
I believe that's AM.
I'm not sure if I've heard you before,
Yes,
but welcome aboard.
that's an
anyway.
AM. That they're communicating on AM.
X-Ray Victor, go ahead there, Steve.
Well, you can hear how it changes. But we'll go back to lower sideband, because anything under 9 megahertz, some will say 10, I say 9. Anything under 9 megahertz, okay? Once I'm above 9, then I need to be in upper sideband. But I'm going to lower sideband. All right. Now, let's go back to the 40 meter band. The way we zero into an active frequency that's being in use is you can hear the tone. Listen to the tone.
Contact, and yeah,
so we're below.
You're almost 30 over 9 on the peaks, Jerry, and the whole band, everybody sounds good tonight. Not as many static crashes and other atmospheric noise that we've had in nights past.
So this is sort of this is where I like to hang out. I'm on 40 meters mostly all the time because it's more of a nighttime band.
20 over, 20 to 25 over, 73 count.
All right. But what we're going to do now, and I had actually made a video before this, but then my phone died, so I'm on my other phone. What we're going to do is we're going to leave the voice portion of the 40 meter band, and we're going to go down to the data and CW, which is Morse code, which is, again here I'm a general, which begins at 7.025 and ends at 7.125. This black line here, this is Morse code. You're allowed to do Morse code or CW. That's a continuous wave. CW all the way from 0.25 to 7.125. So this is where we're going to go now. We're going to go to this specific portion of the band. So let's go down to 7.025. Boom. Now, extra. I'm not an extra. Extra can start at 7, but I can't go down that far. All right, let's go. Now, because I'm in the data portion, but mostly because I want to start listening to Morse code, I have to change to CWL. So now I'm ready to try to start hunting for Morse code. You ready? Here we go. Now, did you see that? You see how, now that's the power level. Now I'm not on frequency. So this radio helps me. You'll see a little white bar here. Watch what happens. And now I'm on it. Now you say, Jason, what are they saying? Well, it's too fast, and I only know 7 letters so far, but believe me, I'm working on it. Let's keep going. A little faster. Found another one. These guys are going, or ladies, are going pretty fast. That's pretty fast. I would not be just starting out. I don't think so. But now I want to show everybody something super cool. So, this display right now is a falling waterfall display. We're going to now go to a three-dimensional display. Now, I see a lot of the noise floor, so I'm going to drop my level down. Now, before we do that, you see how now the signals have been more isolated? Watch what else we can do. We can go in here to span and go down to 1 kilohertz. Now, even we're at 7.041. 505, but do you see how here, now I'm going to change my cursor to center. So now my cursor is now centered on the frequency, but I'm having a hard time seeing it. So I need to up my level so I can begin to see the actual frequency. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at that. There it is. We can also go in here. Whoops. Sorry about that. We can see the oscilloscope characteristics, and we can see, I guess, sort of a representation of the audio. CW is 600 kilohertz. So, I'm sorry, 600 kilohertz, I believe. I could be wrong. Let me look that up before while we're watching that. I believe it is, someone would say, Jason, now I want to make sure I'm right here. I believe I am. Sorry, 150 hertz. I stand corrected. Either way. So, what we're seeing now is the actual signal but let's go to the 3DSS. When we're at this specific area of the screen that we can switch to, I'm trying to explain it the best I can, but it's not easy. I'm not the best at this. But what we're seeing is an actual, Morse code signal between two ham radio operators. Now that we're here, now we can move around. Isn't that amazing? Because you got to realize we have to keep the we are on the we're actually on the upper side of it. So let's bring it in. see how the white line is dead center on the upside down red pyramid looking object? Well, we are in CW lower, so we are on the lower side of the frequency. Which is where we have to be, because we're on 7 megahertz, we're on 40 meters. If we were, say, on 20 meters, which is 14 megahertz, we would have to be on the right side of the signal. Oops, I bumped it. So, if I had a keyer, which I plan on getting eventually here, I'm hoping to be able to do 5 words a minute. That's all I'm asking for right off the bat. Then I could actually sit here, and while I'm keying on my keyer, I would be able to actually watch my frequency go out. All right, let's keep on going to the right. Now, we are still sort of hunting for CW operation on here. There's more. But I really can't wait to show you the really cool part. All right, so that's CW, that's Morse code. That's how this radio, I can zoom in on the Morse code. All right. Now we're going to go up into the more of the digital side of things, which is like FT8 and PSK31, and modes in which radios talk to other radios. I mean, computers talk to other computers by the radio. The radio is sort of the intercessor, trying to find out a word to describe it. The radio is doing the sending and the receiving, and the computer is doing the decoding and the coding. So we are now going to switch, ironically enough, whenever we do data on 40 meters, we actually switch to data upper. Now this is going to be really cool. Watch this. We're going to start moving in towards the FT8 portion, which is basically, in a nutshell, a whole bunch of tones that are generated by another computer, transmitted into the radio, and then the other computer. I can actually do that, and I do FT8 a lot. And maybe one night I'll do an FT8 video. Alright, so let's go up into the FT8 area. And what's so cool is that we're going to start hearing all these crazy sounds. Once we get up right to about 7.074. Here we go. Now, we're off frequency. Basically, it's a 7.074, so let's go down. So now, because I changed the span, we're pretty much dead on though. So what you're hearing there is a computer generating tones with a sound card inside of it, and then another computer who has the exact same program, or a program that does FT8, where there's really only one that I really use. I think pretty much everyone uses it. All that's happening is that each computer is decoding what the other computer is sending, which really is nothing more than their call sign, a signal report, and some other things like 7.3s and like a very few basic commands back and forth. But what they're doing is, and what's happening here, so you can visually see this, is that this specific group of tones that we are hearing could be coming from Africa, could be coming from Russia, because FT8 is a weak signal propagation tool and allows us to see where our antenna is, you know, who is receiving these tones from our antenna. So right now we are on the upper side. We can actually dive right into all these signals. Watch this. Isn't that crazy? And all right, transmission again. End of transmission. End of transmission. How awesome is that? That is so crazy. So let's keep on going. Now we're going into some other modes that have different audio characteristics. But we have to remember that remember that at 40 meters at 7.125 in the Morse code ends and the digital side ends. So we're getting close to 7.125. But let's keep on going. But also remembering that the extra class portion of the voice, extra class operators, which is a class above me, they can begin communicating at, I believe, yeah, 7.128. All right, here we go. I am not 100% of what mode that is. I'm going to have to find out later. But these are all of, what you're seeing is all of these tones. Let's go into the multi. Wow. This is all going through the air, all around you. This is all around you every day. These these tones and frequencies and what have you, this is all traveling by you. Oh man, wow. And we're out. And of course now what happens is I know that if I keep on going, I'm about ready to get into the extra class portion of the voice band, which I'm almost there. So if I want to listen, now I go to lower sideband. You see what happened there? Let me give you an example of what I'm trying to say. The voice section of the you got to be careful because you can actually bleed into. But anyway, never mind. So let's now we're going to go into the communication. We'll keep on going here. We should start picking up some conversations.
Yeah, copy that there, Bill. Have a nice copy on you there, down there in Georgia. Even though my antenna is pretty much pointed northeast there, but still hearing in there with not any.
Now the other really cool thing that this radio does, and I might as well show you while I have you on here, of course I can go to AM. Now AM starts at, I'm pretty sure 500 kilohertz. So let's have some fun seeing what AM stations look like in the spectrum display. Turn up the level. Just enough. How cool is that? Alright, now let's start going. Whoop. You wanna, I made, this is the noise floor. I just want to see just enough so that I can begin to pull in the signals, which are of course AM. I've got a pretty big antenna out there. Bring that noise floor down just enough. Trying to get a good strong signal. Thing about it nighttime is you can get AM stations from pretty far away. But I'm not really hearing any, ironically.
So the question is obvious. Who was running the show? Well, according to one cabinet secretary, it was Biden's aides who had all the power.
There's one. Nope.
Because they're not going to be the favorites to win the division. I mean, they were still on fire.
Anyway, that's when you want to go down to the AM stations. You can't do FM. You can't do like 96.5 and none of that. You know that because this radio and this radio, there's no in between. This starts at 144 megahertz. Well, it actually does airband, so 152 megahertz. This ends, I believe, let's double check, but I believe it's 74, or no, 75. Okay, so this ends at 75 megahertz, okay? This, if I go here to the and I go to band, I believe this starts at 136. Oh no, that was 108. Yeah. So this starts at 108 megahertz for receive only. Okay. So basically, to give you an idea of what I'm saying, this ends at 75 megahertz, and this begins at 108. Well, no, AM, excuse me, 108 kilohertz. This is AM. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 108 kilohertz. No, is that megahertz? I can't know. You think I'd know, but that doesn't make much sense. Hold on, wait a minute. No, that's 108 megahertz. My bad. I'm losing it tonight. So yeah, this will do. Yeah, so basically, FM stations are between here because if you think about it, you know, you're talking like 88.5, 96 rock. Well, that would be you see how this operates here. So it ends at 75, but like 98 rock or something would be 98. I can't go up to 98. But then you've got like 106.7 or country 107. You see, it's below the airband. So basically, I have a radio that'll go all the way up to 512. This is my other baby here. These two right here, I can't even describe how awesome these radios are. But anyway, so that's why I can't get FM stations. So I have to go back down to 7 megahertz, which is where I live at pretty much. Or by hitting this, I can just go 7.300, enter, go back to my, raise my floor. Oh boy, that was a bit much. And then I'm in AM. I need to go to lower sideband, and I also have my span at 1 kilohertz. I need to go to 200, and then we bring everything back. Now this is actually an AM station too, which is quite ironic, but my level's way down, so I'm gonna drop this down to like I usually keep it around -20. And there you have it. Try to think what else I can really show you. That's about it. That's been about 30 minutes, but a spectacular piece of equipment. And there's radios that, you know, not to put this down, but that beat this by 10. There's radios that are $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot more I can show you. This has lots of features that are within here, which I can't really go into. But yep. So I just thought I would show everybody a little bit about how you can go into Morse code and how you can go up into a lot of the other sections of the of bands, and just some of the cool things that I like to do. Have a good one.